Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, thank you very much for all your nice comments. I'm really glad that people are enjoying these videos. I'm absolutely loving making them. It's a lot of work because obviously I'm working in here all day and then I'm editing all night, but I'm enjoying it. Anyway, today I kind of have two things to do. One, I need to weld this together. There is going to be no more progression with this in this video because the bolts haven't arrived. And as I've said before, until I've got those I can't move on forwards. However, the carbon fibre has arrived and I will be basically finishing those two R1 clocks so I can get those on the store. Oh, and while I'm mentioning the store, I have a very limited amount of the 2 stickers and a keychain bundle I did a while ago. I'm doing that again to get rid of the last of the stickers. And then that's it, there will be no more stickers. And it's a good deal to get the two together, so go and check out the link in the description to the Etsy store where you can order those. I think there's probably only going to be about 16 of them. So the early bird gets the worm on that one. Yeah, that's going to be fine. I just need to weld this onto here, it's not going to be a lot to do. This is my welder, it is a Wolf 140 MIG, it is very cheap. It uses disposable bottles, as you can see here. And today, because this is really thick, I'm going to be running it on max power 6 inside here. But as you can see, this is really heavy gauge, and this is a cheap welder. It's not very powerful, but it does the job, so it should be fine. It's not like it's load bearing. If I had something a little larger like this, it wouldn't be such a problem. But that's not mine. Camera, seriously, what are you doing? I just spent 5 minutes trying to work out why this looks so weird. And it's because the camera has fogged up because it was in here last night and it got cold and now it's warming up. It should clear itself, but I've got a second camera now recording. Okay, so I've got gas coming through now, just turn the gas bottle on. If you don't know how welding works, here's a very simple way of understanding it. So you have an earth clamp here, okay, and then the other end, this part, this is electricity going through it which joins onto this. So basically when you connect this and this, the electricity creates a circuit, so heat's created in the gap between, and what makes that connection is a steel wire which is on a big reel inside the machine and pushes out the end of the torch, so that constantly heats up the area with the electricity flow going through it, and that's how you can vary how much heat you put in basically that way. And then the wire introduces material which is what actually builds the weld up. And the only other thing really to it is that I've got actually carbon dioxide and argon mix that is coming out of here, which will surround the weld, which stops it combusting, so you don't get so many, I think it's like we don't get so much, I think it gives you a cleaner weld basically, you don't get so many contaminants and you don't get some other weird things that happen. It makes for a much better weld. Anyway, enough flapping. I want it on 6. Okay, well, that didn't go quite as I was hoping because basically this is such heavy gauge, as I said, that this welder was having a little bit of trouble getting the heat in there. I probably could have turned the wire speed down a little bit more, looking the amount of the fill went in to get enough heat into it, but it's welded, it's good, it's solid. You can't see these from anywhere unless you like turn the clock upside down, so it really doesn't matter. But I'm going to show you what it looks like in there. I want to be clear here, these are not good looking welds, but they're solid. These are not representative of my neat welds, so just... The internet and welding is a place of all experts, and I will always say I'm a complete novice and I have no idea what I'm doing to everything because it's just easier that way. So as you can see, yeah, a bit messy, but it's going to hold. I really couldn't get in there very well, but that's now solid. It's not going anywhere, and it looks a darn sight better than if I tried to do it on the outside here where I was planning, because now I know, well, if you know that that's how much weld had to go into it to really heat it up. I should have turned the wire speed down a bit more. If I'd done it on the outside, it would never have been neat. Little tacks wouldn't have worked. They would have had to have been really, really powerful tacks. I mean, well, I will say this, because I know a lot of people are going to sort of make this suggestion. You need a TIG welder, Spicy. I agree with you. I would love a TIG welder. I yearn for them. I love the things that you can do with them. However, I can't afford one and I couldn't justify spending the money on it. You see, the little ones you can buy, which, I mean, this welder cost me 170 quid, and it does a reasonable job because MIG is pretty simple. The one thing about this machine I'll say is that the adjustments are not very incremental. You know, like the wire speed's a bit variable, you put it in one place one time and it's not quite the same the next time, although also I've noticed that, I know this is true for all welding leads, inside here you're going to have the metal core that comes down. If you get too much of a kink in this and just a loose like bend in it, I have noticed, especially if it's pushing uphill, it hasn't quite got the power. I've adjusted the wheels inside the grip on it so it's about the right strength, but I'm getting used to it. But the one good thing about this is, when I go from using this one, which is difficult, to using my brother's one, which is really good, occasionally I use that, it's so much easier, that thing. It's a dream to use something that's really good. But at least I know this is teaching me, and I'm not being spoilt by a really good machine. So yes, I'd love a tube, but I can't afford one, and also the running costs of it are more because you have to use argon rather than the mix, and argon's a lot more expensive than just getting a bottle. So I'm using disposables at the moment. Yes, I know bigger bottles are cheaper, etc., etc., but I had real problems finding one. So at the moment I'm using bottles, and for the amount of welding I do, it's actually okay. I can justify, for the amount of things I can make with it, it's justifiable. You know, if it was one big job I was doing and I used all 3 bottles, then yeah, I can understand why someone would want a bigger bottle at those cheaper rates. But anyway, enough flapping. Excellent. The clock is starting to take form. Now on to some carbon fibre and finishing those two. Oh, another thing, when you stop welding, turn off your gas. Don't leave it on, because you can have little leaks and stuff, and it's not like it's going to be dangerous or anything, because it's heavier than air and it's inert. But it is an oxygen displacer, obviously, so it could, if the whole entire room filled up with it, you could suffocate. Oh, by the way, I have moved the gas torch, you know, away from the grinding area. I'll be honest, that's actually my brother's, and it's been there for about 2 years, and we have done probably hundreds of hours of welding next to it, and it's never been an issue, but just to keep people happy, it's been moved out of the way. It is at this point I realised I forgot to put my gloves on. Silly me. Oh well. At least it was quite shielded in there, so it shouldn't have gone on my hands and that too much. Okay, so now that's welded, it's time to sort the carbon fibre out to replace this aluminium that didn't work, and to replace this carbon fibre, which it did work, but it's got that scuff in it, and it's just, I've put too much effort into it to just, you know, do that. So anyway, here is the carbon. Ooh, I don't know if you can see this. Yes. And obviously, because I don't want to scratch it, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put masking tape all over it. Obviously this is to stop it getting scratched, but it also means that I can get the tape off afterwards without any trouble. That's like leaving marks or anything on it. Okay, so that's that done. Doesn't need to be neat. One thing I will say is, if you use carbon fibre and you put tape on it like this, when you're done with, you know, you got your offcut, take the tape off and store it in a safe way. You don't want, I know it's tempting to leave that tape on, but it'll harden and it will become a pain to get off, and yeah, you just don't want to do it. The low tack glue doesn't stay low tack forever. Nearly all the clocks that I make require a disc of something to be cut out, so I make these templates. The way I make these is I've got a very simple drawing program, like it's not CAD, it's like 2D CAD I suppose in a way, but it's not, it's just a drafting program. And I can put in measurements of the size of the thing I need, and then I use a second one for the centre point, and I'll show you that's for the big clock. I did those at the same time. I did these because these are the ones that I need to cut out for the 2 R1 clocks. And I'm just going to attach these onto the carbon using double-sided tape. Carbon fibre is super expensive. This little sheet here cost 8 quid, and that's a good price. Obviously, a really big thing when you're making stuff is you want to try and conserve as much material as possible. So, I think I can get both of these out of a small piece at the bottom. There we go. So I just need to chop this down here and then down here, and then I can start shaping these. There are many ways of cutting this, but I'm going to use a Dremel and a small cutting disc, because it zips straight through it. And while I'm talking about Dremels, I get advice from people quite a lot. Some of it is sometimes like, for real? Of course I know that. But they're just trying to be helpful, and sometimes it is genuinely helpful, so I have no problem with it at all. But someone did say to me about, oh, you want to get like an industrial machine, don't use a Dremel because they don't keep up. Yeah, I know they don't, they're not great. This one, for instance, is supposed to be variable control. Yeah, it just turns on and off. And I asked, who did I ask about this? Big Clive, YouTube channel, about it, and he thinks it was a triac that had blown up on it. I can send it back and get it replaced, and I probably will do that before my warranty runs out, but I just need the thing all the time. And anyway, someone said, yeah, you should get like an industrial better one, and yeah, I could do one, but they're not 40 quid like this was. I don't have the budget for that. It's difficult enough as things are. Anyway, breathing mask is going on because this is carbon dust. Right, one of the cameras died during that, so I don't know if the voice bits got caught, but basically I've now cut that in half. This is a bit harder to cut than I was expecting because, well, one, this disc is quite small, and because of the height of the tool, you kind of have to dip in and it's not so easy. Plus this is 1mm thick, and to be honest with you, the stuff that I'm using must be 0.5. I thought it was 1mm, but it must be 0.5, because this is a lot thicker. But it's not a big deal. They're now cut out, so now what I've got to do is basically shape these down to those circles. But I might just chop the corners off first to have a little less material to remove. Right, okay, well, right, okay, well what I'm going to do now is grind those down, and I'm going to do it in a way that you'll probably be quite surprised by. So basically, it's how I do it. We've got a really coarse wheel on a bench grinder. It's a belt sander and grinder in one. Tool zone. It's not brilliant, but you know, it's all right. It does the job. It's not mine. It's actually my brother's. But yeah, so let's just get on with it. Right, I'm getting there, but man, this 1mm is so much harder to get through than the half mil. The half mil is up, and it's kind of like done. I'm really grinding through this. It's good because it means you get more control over the edge, but I'm getting a little bit of delamination on the bottom edge where it's getting a bit fluffy, but I'm running that round on the belt sander on the other side just to clean it up. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't actually fit, as I knew it wouldn't, because I make these slightly too big, so I can grind them down slowly, round and round and round, until it just clicks in nicely and gets a perfect fit. I need to take this one out, and I've epoxy resined this in, so the only way this is coming out is I've got to heat it up. Okay, these cheap gas torches, here's a tip that I've learned, you know, you buy them, you use them once, and then it just stops working. And you hear that story from people all the time. So if you listen, nothing's happening. The way you solve this problem is you close the valve, you release the pressure, put the pressure back on, and turn on. Every time. Every single time it works. Epoxy resin gets soft with heat, so I'm heating this up to get it to let go. Now what I'm going to do is going to go back to the wheel and back to the sander and just go between the two and gently spin, 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 and try and carry on until it fits. As you saw, I was keeping this circular by hand, basically by maintaining the pressure and the amount of movement, so I keep an average amount taken off of each side so it stays round. So this is the moment of truth. Can you hear it? That is the fit I wanted. And the nice thing about this now is I just have to glue this face in and then drill a hole through the middle and then grind out what's in here to the same dimensions this piece of metal is a guide, and yeah, it'll be basically done. I will take the template off, but do I want to take the masking tape off? I am going to want to take... I don't want to take the masking tape off yet. Once it's in there, it's going to be a pain. What I'll do is I'll peel the edges of the masking tape, but I would like it to be on the centre for when I carve the middle out, because it will help prevent any chipping. I put the last ones in using epoxy resin, and it just took so long to cure because of the temperature. So I'm going to use Gorilla Glue. This is strong as hell, it will hold, but I'm also going to seal this in with some silicone. This has just got to hold it. Right, well I'm going to leave that weighted down to set. I need to go and get some dinner because it's like 6 o'clock in the evening, but I've got a load more to do today. So I'll catch up with you once that's set. Right, let's see if this set. Nice. Really good strong fit. So now what I need to do is drill a hole through the middle as big as I can, and then I'm going to have to grind it out using a Dremel and a die grinder probably, because they're really good at eating through carbon quite cleanly. I have a small but sharp drill bit, so I can just make a hole through this. Okay, so now I have my hole. I need to get the Dremel and start grinding. Now I'm transferring to a sanding drum. Oh, we're not quite there yet, actually. Oh, I can see why. Oh, this is so much riskier now the tape's not on there, in fact. Okay, I reckon that'll be it. Well, that's the way I wanted it to look. Fantastic, I'm so glad that's done. Obviously I still have another one to do. It's now like nearly 8 o'clock in the evening, so I'm going to have to stop for now and pick this up back up tomorrow. But anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, and I'll catch you next time.
I won't deceive you, Mr. Stryker. We're running out of time.
Surely there must be something you can do.
I'm doing everything I can. And stop calling me Shirley.